Dallas, November 22nd, 1963. A sunlit day, crowds cheering, hope in the air. The presidential motorcade glided through Dealey Plaza. Kennedy and Jackie waving, the nation's optimism on full display. Suddenly, gunshots shattered the celebration. Kennedy slumped forward, chaos erupted, and the dream of Camelot ended in an instant. Secret Service agents scrambled, but it was too late. Jackie, in shock, reached for help as the limousine sped to Parkland Hospital. Across America, people watched in disbelief as Walter Cronkite announced the unthinkable. The president was dead. The country mourned, businesses closed, and a deep wound was carved into the American soul. The sense of innocence was lost, replaced by grief and confusion. The shockwave of that day still echoes, leaving behind questions and suspicion that never faded. The assassination wasn't just a tragedy. It was a turning point, a moment when America's faith in itself was shaken. The world watched as hope was extinguished in a matter of seconds. The image of Jackie in her blood-stained suit became a symbol of national heartbreak. The chaos in Dealey Plaza marked the end of an era. The nation's collective grief was overwhelming, uniting Americans in sorrow. The wound left by that day has never fully healed. The questions began immediately. How could this happen? Who was responsible? The answers would prove elusive, fueling decades of doubt. The story of that day is more than history. It's a mystery that still haunts us. The dream died in Dallas, but the search for truth had only begun. And so, the nation entered a new era, one defined by uncertainty and suspicion. Within hours, a name, Lee Harvey Oswald, a troubled ex-Marine with Soviet ties. Arrested in a movie theater, a rifle found at his workplace. The case seemed closed. The official story, a lone gunman, acting alone. But just 2 days later, Oswald was shot on live TV by Jack Ruby, a man with mob connections. Oswald's last words, "I'm just a patsy." The Warren Commission declared Oswald the sole assassin, but doubts grew. Witnesses reported shots from other directions, evidence vanished, and the Zapruder film was hidden for years. The president's autopsy was chaotic, with key documents missing or destroyed. The official narrative unraveled almost immediately. Was Oswald a lone killer, or a pawn in a larger plot? The truth seemed buried beneath layers of secrecy and confusion. The more we learned, the less the story made sense. The mystery deepened, and the search for answers intensified. If Oswald was a patsy, who orchestrated the crime? The CIA, angered by Kennedy's threats to dismantle it, had motive. The Mafia, betrayed by the Kennedys' crackdown, had motive. And Jack Ruby's mob ties raised eyebrows. Anti-Castro Cuban exiles, furious over the Bay of Pigs, also had reason. Oswald's strange connections to both pro- and anti-Castro groups only deepened the intrigue. Could these groups have joined forces to eliminate Kennedy? Even Vice President Lyndon Johnson and Texas oilmen have been implicated by some. The list of suspects is long, the motives tangled. The lone gunman theory faded as a web of power, betrayal, and secrets emerged. The deeper investigators looked, the more complex the conspiracy seemed. The truth, if it exists, is buried in the shadows of power. The Kennedy assassination became the ultimate American mystery. The Warren Commission's case hinged on the magic bullet, a single round that supposedly caused multiple wounds. Critics say the bullet's path defies physics. Even Governor Connolly disagreed with the official story. Acoustic evidence suggested more than 3 shots, hinting at a second gunman. Witnesses reported shots from the grassy knoll, and the Zapruder film showed Kennedy's head snapping backward. The magic bullet theory was a necessary fiction to support the lone gunman narrative. Dozens of witnesses died mysteriously in the years that followed. Was it coincidence or a cover-up? Key evidence vanished and the puzzle pieces never fit. The more we learned, the more the official story crumbled. The truth seemed deliberately obscured. The Kennedy assassination remains a case of missing pieces and unanswered questions. Decades later, the truth is still locked away. The JFK Records Act promised transparency, but the most sensitive files remain secret. Each president delays their release, citing national security. What secrets could be so dangerous after all these years? The files may hold answers about Oswald's activities, CIA operations, and more. Keeping them hidden only deepens suspicion and erodes trust. The Kennedy assassination is a warning. Unchecked power breeds secrecy. The official story is fragile. The search for truth must continue. We must demand every file be opened, every secret revealed. Only then can the nation begin to heal, and finally know what happened in Dallas.